Alright, let's talk about coastal Maine hikes, but not the ones you're probably thinking of. Acadia National Park gets all the love, and for good reason, but personally, I think there's something special about discovering trails that aren't on every tourist's radar. What makes this really interesting is that Maine's coastline is packed with hidden gems that offer just as much beauty, minus the crowds. So, let's dive into some of these lesser-known hikes and why they're worth your time. First up, the Cliff Trail in Harpswell. This one's a loop that takes you from dramatic 150-foot cliffs to the shore of Long Reach. What many people don't realize is that Harpswell is like a mini Acadia. It's got those same stunning coastal views but with way fewer people. The overlook at Henry Creek is a highlight, especially if you're into birdwatching. From my perspective, this hike is perfect for someone who wants Acadia-level scenery without the Acadia-level crowds. Next, let's talk about Morse Mountain in Phippsburg. This hike is just 2 miles one way, but it packs a punch. You start by climbing to the summit, which is barely 180 feet above sea level, but don't let that fool you. The view of the Sprague River and the ocean beyond is breathtaking. What this really suggests is that you don't need a massive elevation gain to get a killer view. Plus, ending at Seawall Beach feels like a reward. Personally, I think this hike is underrated for how much it delivers in such a short distance. Now, Reid State Park in Georgetown is a bit different. It's more about the beaches and family-friendly trails, but don't sleep on the hike up Griffith Head. The coin-operated viewing scopes might sound gimmicky, but they're actually pretty cool. You can spot lighthouses and even the Tern Sanctuary at Outer Head. What makes this really interesting is the historical connection to Rachel Carson, who wrote Silent Spring Nearby. It's a hike that's not just about nature but also about the stories behind the landscape. Moving on to Mount McGuntycook in Camden, this one's for those who want a bit more elevation. At 1,385 feet, it's the highest peak in the Camden Hills, but what stands out to me are the granite ledges along the way. The view of Penobscot Bay from Ocean Lookout is something else. You can see islands like Vinalhaven and North Haven. In my opinion, this hike is a perfect blend of challenge and reward, especially if you're into those classic Maine coastal vistas. If you're looking for something a bit easier, Bald Rock Mountain in Lincolnville is a great option. It's only about 1,200 feet high, but the rock outcroppings near the summit give you a panoramic view of Penobscot Bay. What's fascinating is that on a clear day, you can even see the mountains of Mount Desert Island in the distance. This hike is pet-friendly and family-friendly, which is a big plus. Personally, I think it's one of those hikes that feels accessible without sacrificing beauty. Now, John B. Mountain in Brooksville is tiny, just 250 feet high, but it's a perfect example of how size doesn't always matter. The steep stretch leading to the summit is a bit of a workout, but the views of Eggemoggin Reach and the Camden Hills make it worth it. What many people don't realize is that these smaller hikes often offer some of the most intimate and unique perspectives on the landscape. It's like Maine is letting you in on a little secret. Pigeon Hill in Steuben is another one that flies under the radar. At 317 feet, it's the highest coastal property in Washington County, and the views are incredible. You can see Pigeon Hill Bay, Douglas Island Harbor, and even the lighthouse on Petit Manan Island on a clear day. What makes this really interesting is how it connects you to the broader geography of the region. You're not just looking at one bay or island, but a whole network of them. It's a hike that makes you feel like you're part of something bigger. Finally, let's talk about the Cutler Coast Public Reserved Land. This place is massive, 12,334 acres, and it's been getting more attention lately, but it still feels wild and untouched. The 4.5 miles of rocky coastline overlooking the Bay of Fundy are stunning, and the backcountry tent sites make it perfect for an overnight adventure. What this really suggests is that Maine's coast isn't just about day hikes, it's a place where you can truly immerse yourself in nature. Personally, I think this is one of those spots that reminds you why we hike in the first place. So, there you have it, 8 coastal Maine hikes that aren't in Acadia but are absolutely worth checking out. What's fascinating to me is how each of these trails offers something unique, whether it's a historical connection, a hidden viewpoint, or just a quieter experience. If you take a step back and think about it, these hikes are a reminder that adventure doesn't always have to be where everyone else is looking. So, next time you're in Maine, why not explore one of these trails? You might just find your new favorite spot. Let me know in the comments which one you'd try first. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.